Hello, Giants fans. So it's been a while since I talked about the Giants, and I kind of missed it honestly. So I wanted to do a video, which should be a fun video, which is bold predictions for 2019 revolving around the Giants. And I do have some interesting things to say. Some of them are not very bold, and you'll probably call me out on it in the comments, but it is what it is. So I'm just trying to make some predictions. Hopefully they'll come true, and let's get into it. So the main question everyone wants answered this year is, when is Daniel Jones going to make his first NFL start? And if I had to make an educated guess about it, I would say week 7 at home against the Cardinals. The Giants will be coming off a Thursday night game against the Patriots in week 6, so that gives him enough time to prepare for that game. At that point in the season, the Giants would probably be maybe 2-4, 3-3 if they're lucky. I think the Patriots and the Vikings are automatic losses. I would expect them to lose at Dallas week 1. That would suck, of course. I'm just trying to make an educated guess. And then the Bills, Buccaneers, and Redskins are, I think we should beat the Redskins. We probably should be 1-1 from those Bills and Buccaneers games. So if I had to guess, they'd be 2-4 after the Week 6 game. And at that point, the media is going to be all hyped up about Daniel Jones, saying, hey, why'd you draft the guy 6 overall? You might as well play him. We're going nowhere this year. And I think at 2-4 or 1-5, whatever it would be, the Giants would make the switch to Daniel Jones in week 7. I could be wrong, and I was thinking maybe week 11 at the bye week, but then I think week 12, I didn't put it in this picture, but I believe week 12 they are playing at Chicago against the Bears, and they had the best defense in football last year. So I wouldn't want to throw my rookie quarterback into that as his first game. But I do think it would be cool to have Eli Manning's last start against the Jets. So there's just there's pros and cons to it. But I do think the Giants will make Daniel Jones' first appearance against the Cardinals, because then they follow up with the Lions, Cowboys, and Jets. One of those defenses is really good. The other three, not that great. But I think in terms of their schedule, it just makes the most sense to play him against the Cardinals. You're coming off 10 days rest instead of 7 days, so you give him more time to prepare for that game. As I said, you're playing 3 pretty easy defenses in the next 4 weeks, so that will help. And even the Cowboys game is at home, so it's not like he's going off to Dallas and, they might get their asses kicked or something. So I think it's a good situation. It makes the most sense. Obviously, it's going to suck for Eli to only play in 6, 7 games, whatever it is, 6 games this season. So we'll see. Just let me know what you guys think in the comments about when his first start will be. It's an interesting debate. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just some dates make more sense than others. So we will see what happens this year. Number 2 is Evan Engram scores 8+ touchdowns in 2019. His career high in touchdowns is 6, which was his rookie season. He had 3 last year. Did miss some games, but I do think he'll find a way to get 8+ in 2019. And if you look at their receiving core, I think it makes sense. I don't know if the Giants will have a high-octane offense this year. I'm not counting on it, so I hope he has enough opportunities to score 8+ touchdowns. And if he does, that'd be great, because we would definitely see Evan Engram blossom into one of the better tight ends in football. He definitely looked better at some points last year, especially towards the end of the season, specifically when Odell was out. I think most of us Giants fans are aware of that by now, the correlation between when Odell plays and when he doesn't play, and how that changes Engram's numbers. So obviously no more Odell. They do fill in Golden Tate with Odell, so it's definitely not the same type of player. Hopefully Evan Engram is still very effective next year. And in terms of when they're in the red zone, aside from Saquon, I don't know who's going to be their go-to option. Especially in the passing game, I think Evan Engram has to be that guy. He's just their biggest target, the most athletic guy. Golden Tate's definitely more of the underneath passing option, and then Sterling Shepard's more of a possession type receiver. So I think in the red zone, Evan Engram should be their guy. Definitely, there are other options. I'm not going to be surprised if Sterling Shepard has 8 to 10 touchdowns this year, or maybe Golden Tate somehow gets 6 to 8, and maybe Saquon Barkley receives 6, 7 touchdowns, something crazy like that. But I think it's just most likely that Evan Engram does have the most touchdowns receiving on this team, and I'm going to set the bar at 8+. So some of you probably aren't going to like this, but my third one is Golden Tate leads the Giants in receptions and receiving yards. I'm not too comfortable with the receptions part, because I do feel, a part of me feels that Saquon Barkley will lead this team in receptions once again. But I feel with the way Eli plays, and even the way Daniel Jones plays based off of his college film, those guys like to look short, especially now. The old Eli definitely liked to look deep. But now it's just so engraved in his mind that he's not going to have a lot of time to throw that he just looks short now. And I think he's going to look to Golden Tate a lot. Obviously, Golden Tate runs a lot of drag routes, a lot of short routes, and stays short of the sticks, which is what Eli likes. He's just great with yards after the catch and will definitely make his quarterbacks look good. So I think Eli and Daniel Jones will definitely both try to target Golden Tate as much as possible. Some of you do believe Sterling Shepard's going to have this breakout year, and I have to address this because some people in the Sterling Shepard highlight video I made comment like, who needs Odell or Odell who and stuff like that. Can we please just stop with that? I mean, he's nowhere near the talent that Odell Beckham is. You can dislike Odell because like he was injury prone and definitely caused some controversy or was a distraction and stuff like that, but don't compare Sterling Shepard talent-wise to Odell. You're just making yourself look stupid. But anyway, I'm not expecting Sterling Shepard to have this monster year that some people are expecting. I mean, even in fantasy football, some people expect it. I'm not counting on it. I just don't see it. If this was a different team and they had a different offensive line and a different quarterback, I mean, if you put like Patrick Mahomes on this team, then yeah, I could see it happening. But I just don't think the Giants are going to be that great of an offense to support a number one receiver type like Sterling Shepard. I consider Shep as a wide receiver too. I hope he proves me wrong. That would be nice if he was a wide receiver one and we have him on a pretty nice contract as well. So that would be cool, but I'm not counting on it, of course. So we'll see what happens with all that. I mean, you guys can comment as well who you think the wide receiver one on this team is going to be, who leads this team in receiving yards, and who's going to be top dog in terms of receiving. I think it's going to be Golden Tate. He's a proven veteran. Definitely going to get along with Eli. Eli and Daniel Jones are going to look his way, and I think he's going to have a lot of opportunities. Could be Shep, could be Ingram, could be Saquon. There's no clear-cut answer on this team, but we will see what happens. Number 4, this is a pretty interesting one. So I do believe 3 different players at least will make a start at right tackle for the Giants in 2019. It's either going to be between Mike Remmers, Chad Wheeler, George Asafa-Wajay, who was our 7th round pick, I believe, this year, and then the undrafted rookie, Paul Adams, if he makes the team. I personally like Paul Adams. I do hope the Giants give him a shot as their right tackle in camp and stuff like that. We'll see how he plays in the preseason especially. But I do think with Mike Remmers' injury history, Chad Wheeler being ineffective in the past, I'm not sure the Giants are ever going to find their answer at right tackle this season, but I do believe they will give the younger guys a chance. They probably will start the season with Mike Remmers as long as he's healthy. If he doesn't perform well or he gets injured, it's probably going to be either Wheeler or Big George, and then if they fail for some reason, it'll be Paul Adams. But I do believe there's a chance that 3 different players do make a start at that position. It's not like anyone has it on lock or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm sure you guys want Mike Remmers starting at right tackle. I think that's what the assumption was when we signed him, so that's probably how it will go. I wouldn't sleep on Chad Wheeler entirely. I mean, some reports were saying he's coming in stronger and should bounce back and stuff like that. I'm not really counting on it, but it's just what some people are saying. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens at this position, but I do think there is a legitimate chance that multiple people start at this position this year. Number 5, DeAndre Baker is going to be the best rookie and cornerback on this team. That is kind of a hot take because obviously there are 2 draft picks picked higher than him, even though he was a first-round pick. Janoris Jenkins and Sam Beal are ranked over him in the depth chart right now. But I do believe that by the end of the year, he's going to be known as the best Giants cornerback. I think he has everything it takes talent-wise. He has that kind of personality, that dog in him to be a great cornerback. Very competitive guy, and of course has the talent to get it done. I think he'll be in a good situation. I mean, having Antoine Bethea as his safety, kind of the center fielder and getting everybody set, and having Jabrill Peppers there as well, a very talented safety, and then having good cornerbacks around him as well, like Janoris, Sam Beal. They have Julian Love as well. So, I mean, there's definitely guys around him to make him better. It's not like he's on an island by himself. I think he's going to make some very good plays this year. He's going to be one of those corners who gets up in your face and makes it tough for your wide receiver one whenever he's given that kind of role. So I'm very excited to see what he can do this year. I'm sure a lot of you guys are as well. We did spend a decent amount to get him in the first round, so I hope he lives up to it. You know, from what I've seen on tape and stuff like that, I'm a big fan of his, and I really hope the pick pays off. So I do believe by the end of 2019, we'll be saying DeAndre Baker is for sure our best cornerback. Number 6, Tate Davis outplays B.J. Goodson and is eventually named the starter at inside linebacker next to Alec Ogletree. This is a pretty easy one, I think, because if you remember, I mean, B.J. Goodson, I think, was drafted in 2015 or 2016. I forget which one it was. I feel like it was 16 in the middle rounds by Jerry Reese. So he's not even a Dave Gettleman guy, B.J. Goodson. And I think Gettleman's the type of GM that definitely loves being right and wants to play his guys. And I do think they're going to take, the opportunity to put Davis in the starting role at some point this year, unless B.J. Goodson just has a phenomenal year. And I'm pretty sure it's B.J. Goodson's contract year as well. So, it wouldn't be shocking if the Giants, traded him right before the deadline or something like that, or if B.J. Goodson did not surprise anybody this year, that they would give Tate Davis an opportunity to start. He did play pretty well last year. I think both guys are average linebackers at best in the NFL, but as I said, he is a Gettleman guy, an undrafted free agent, former safety. It's kind of like a rock that's unturned and they're unsure what Tate Davis's max potential is. And, B.J. Goodson obviously does have some health concerns. He's had some injuries the last few years and issues staying on the field. As I said, I think both are pretty good run stoppers, not great in the passing game, but I think agility-wise, Tate Davis can make more plays and stuff like that. B.J. Goodson's probably a better tackler, but I do believe based off of him being a Gettleman guy, he will get the edge at some point this year. Number 7, the Giants have 4 players with 5+ sacks. They only had 2 last season who I believe were Olivier Vernon, everyone's favorite Giant, and rookie B.J. Hill, who I think had 5.5 sacks, so he barely got it, but hey, it still counts. My guesses for that would be Marcus Golden, who's coming over from the Cardinals this year, Lorenzo Carter entering year 2, the former third-round pick. This year's, I think he was third-rounder, pick 95, O'Shane Ximenez, and then, of course, B.J. Hill, who I just mentioned before. So it's going to be tough for these guys to all get on the field enough to get 5+ sacks, but I think they will. The Giants are going to do a good job rotating their guys in and out. They will have an opportunity, and here's why I think it will happen. The Giants' secondary should be much better from last year and even years prior, and I think there's going to be a lot of coverage sacks this year. The problem with the Giants was their secondary was so bad that sometimes, their pass rushing wasn't that effective, but their secondary being bad didn't help either because quarterbacks were able to expose their secondary so quick, and their pass rushers weren't getting there fast enough either. But I do think with the improved secondary, there will be more coverage sacks, and I think they do have more talent at the outside linebacker spot, defensive end, stuff like that. Obviously, we did not have Marcus Golden last year. We didn't have O'Shane last year, so we're adding them. There's other, guys that could get to that number as well. Kareem Martin, everyone forgets about. I'm not a big fan of his, but hey, it could happen. R.J. McIntosh could do something. We don't know what he is yet. Dexter Lawrence isn't really a sack guy, but it could happen. We've seen crazier things. I don't think people expected B.J. Hill to get many sacks last year, but hey, it happened. So anything's possible. So I do think this could happen. I'm not really counting on it, but I think it's going to be interesting. I don't think the Giants are going to have anybody with double-digit sacks, but I think there is an opportunity for multiple guys to have 5+ sacks this year. And hey, that would be nice to get a pass rush finally. Number 8, Jabrill Peppers and Antoine Bethea are the best safety duo for the Giants since 2016. And if you forget, obviously we did have Landon Collins in 2016. He should have won Defensive Player of the Year that year. But they also had a guy named Andrew Adams at safety who I believe started in 13 or 14 games that year and played pretty well. The Giants did cut him. I think Dave Gettleman was the one that cut him. I was not a fan of that, but it is what it is. I'm not going to get into it right now. But these two definitely have a chance to be a good safety duo and a good combination between Bethea's leadership and his veteran leadership and stuff like that. He could still get it done talent-wise as well. I think people are going to sleep on him. I mean, just because of his age. We definitely make fun of him due to his age, but he could still play at a pretty high level. Jabrill Peppers, of course, is just a young guy, former first-round pick. Definitely had a really good second half last year with the Browns, which is encouraging. He should be even better this year, and he's definitely a potential breakout player for this team, and I really hope it happens because that would be awesome. Makes the Odell trade look a lot better. And the Giants, even beyond these guys, I mean, say one of them gets hurt, I mean, they still have Michael Thomas from last year who had a great year, Sean Chandler, a decent safety as well. So the Giants have guys at that position, but I think as long as these two stay healthy, they will be a good combination for this team. Definitely the best we've seen in the last few years. We've seen some pretty bad safeties on this team last year. The one, Curtis Riley, who I think plays for the Raiders now or something like that. That guy started a lot of games for this team last year, and it was pretty ugly. So we should see much better safety play this year. I'm expecting a lot from both of these guys, and I hope they get it done and make our defense even better, because if we have the good safeties, it's going to help a lot. We gave up a lot of big plays last year due to Curtis Riley. So I think without him this year and other guys like that, it's going to help. It's going to make our defense a lot better, and I'm looking forward to seeing these guys play together. Number 9, this is kind of like just a stupid thing to predict, because who knows if it's going to happen, but I think these kind of things just happen in sports, and I would not be shocked at all if it happened. Number 9 is Bennie Fowler catches Eli Manning's last completed pass in the NFL. And if that sounds familiar, well, yes, Bennie Fowler caught Peyton Manning's last pass in the NFL, so why wouldn't he catch Eli Manning's last pass in the NFL? This kind of stuff happens in sports all the time. We don't know why it happens. There's no explanation, but I honestly would not be shocked if it happened. I think I saw a crazy stat, a couple months ago, whenever Vladimir Guerrero Jr. came up, and it was like when Vlad Jr.'s, his first RBI, he drove in Justin Smoke. And I think Justin Smoke's first RBI, Vlad Sr. was the one who scored that run. It's just a lot of weird stuff like that happens in sports. I hope I got that one right, but it's something like that. And there's no reason to believe in this. It's just stupid stuff that happens, and I think it'd be pretty funny if it happened like that. I kind of hope Eli and Peyton just say this on purpose, and for some reason, if Eli Manning knows it's like his last drive, he just targets Bennie Fowler like 4 times on the same drive and see if it happens. I think that'd be very cool. I mean, Bennie Fowler would be like the most irrelevant receiver of all time. A guy that really didn't have a great NFL career, but for some reason was the guy who caught the last pass of 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. So I think that'd be funny if it works like that. Obviously, I have no idea if it's going to work, but we'll see what happens. I don't know when Eli Manning's last pass is going to be either. I don't even know if Bennie Fowler is going to make the damn team, but it's funny to say this kind of stuff, and I kind of do hope it happens, so we will see what happens this year. Number 10, this might surprise some people, it might not, but I do believe Kyle Lauletta will be cut before the regular season. I think the only way he stays on this team is with a terrific training camp and preseason. He really has to open some eyes. But here's the problem. So the Giants do already have Eli Manning and Daniel Jones. Those guys are locks to make the team. Alex Tanney was just signed this offseason, so I really don't see a reason to cut him, and it doesn't really make much sense. And then you're left with Eric Dungy and then Kyle Lauletta. I think the Giants are going to have a role for Dungy this year, and of course people compare him to Taysom Hill of the Saints with the role he had with that team. And I could see something similar. I'm not counting on it being the same. I think Sean Payton definitely just does his own thing down there. I don't think the Giants are going to do the exact same thing with him, but they could use him in a lot of interesting spots. So I think there's no way this team carries 5 quarterbacks. I can't see that happening. There is a scenario where Dungy is listed as a tight end, and they put him there, but at the end of the day, he's basically a quarterback. So I do believe Lauletta will be cut from this team. He was drafted by this team 2 years ago now, I think in the 4th round, 5th round. I should definitely have this written down, but I don't. So, excuse me if I'm wrong, but he was a mid-round pick for this team. I know that for sure just a couple seasons ago. Got in the NFL, played 1 game in the Redskin blowout, had a pretty awful showing. I think had 1 pick, should have had like 3. Luckily, a couple were dropped. Didn't look that good in his NFL action, but, it is what it is. He's a mid-round quarterback, so it would be sad if he's cut, because I'm sure some people had high hopes. The people that, think Eli Manning has been done for a few years, like myself, they wanted to see Lauletta get a shot, but hey, maybe he's just not that good and he doesn't belong in the NFL. A lot of people were just, all over Davis Webb a couple years ago. I was telling you guys, I don't think Davis Webb is that good. The guy ended up being cut. I really didn't see it coming that soon, but it happens, and I would not be shocked if it happened in the case of Lauletta this year. So that'll be it for me in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any bold predictions that you believe will happen this year for the Giants, let me know in the comments. It'll be fun to talk about. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want me to do other Giants videos and have an idea for me to do something on, let me know in the comments as well, and I'll talk to you guys next time.